Welcome to the Cash Flow Guys podcast. Join Tyler and his team as they unlock the secrets to achieving financial independence through wealth-building strategies inspired by Robert Kiyosaki and other thought-provoking leaders.
Learn to build leveraged streams of cash flow that land in your pocket and improve your quality of life.
Gain access to cutting-edge ideas that will increase your productivity and streamline your success. Find out how to supercharge your retirement plan so you won't have to retire with a pay cut.
You can escape the rat race. Are you ready?
It's time to Learn to Earn with Tyler Sheff.
Welcome to the Cash Flow Guys podcast. It's that time again. We are here for another episode, and hopefully we are going to learn to earn in this episode. For those of you tuning in for the first time, my name is Tyler Sheff. I am your host. We've been doing the Cash Flow Guys podcast, for those that are relatively new, for about 18 months now, give or take. It's been a collaborative effort of me and my team getting this together. Of course, you, the audience, as the listener, spending the time out of your valuable day to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes with me, taking steps to escape the rat race. That's what this episode is all about today. Today, we're going to talk about, we are on the back to basics, of course. We've been in the last couple episodes, we've talked about back to basics. And in this episode, we're going to stay right there. We're going to talk about fear of loss. Now, there's fear of loss, but these things kind of go hand in hand to some degree. So first thing I want to ask you, and I want you to think about for a second is it reasonable to have this fear? In other words, for you to experience an emotion, and a lot of people think, well, it's an emotion, I have no control over it. And I disagree. I think you absolutely have control, or can learn to have control over the emotions that you're going through. Now, some of you listening to this, you probably have no control of your emotions. Maybe you're some sort of screaming crazy person, I don't know. And you've been traumatized or something, and you just, run around and start slapping yourself in the face saying, big dogs landing on my face. I'm just kidding. I'm not making fun of those that are mentally challenged. I'm just pointing out that we have some control, or we should be able to learn to have control over how we interpret things, what our feelings can be. Because really what it all comes down to is the mindset. Okay, it's how we interpret something. And if we interpret something to be bad, if we go into something knowing it's going to be bad or convincing ourselves it's going to be bad, then you can rest assured it's going to be bad no matter what you do. So that's what we're going to talk about today a little bit. We're going to talk about the fear of loss, and we're going to see if it's reasonable or not. Now, one of the first things you got to really do for yourself is, I believe, take an inventory. Figure out where you are financially right now. And a lot of you are driving down the road going, oh, you have no idea. It's like, guys, listen, I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. And there's been times where there was no money in the checking account. Hell, there's been times there was no checking account. When I was in my 20s and thought I was charming, I always had money as long as I had plenty of checks. And guess what? My charm didn't last so long, and I had to pay big fees. And yeah, I've had an overdrawn bank account. It wasn't pretty. It was a long time ago, but it wasn't pretty. I remember what they used to call floating checks. I don't think they do that anymore. I think they actually throw people in jail for that these days, but that was a thing back when I got out of the Army and I was in my early 20s. I knew better, but I was lazy and thought that my charm would make those checks clear. And lo and behold, they never did. I digress. Take an inventory of where you are now. A couple episodes back, you heard me talk about the cash flow worksheet. It's something that we use in our cash flow events. And for those of you in the Tampa area, we will be starting those up again here soon. We just had some difficulty finding an acceptable venue. We've had some venues quote us $500-$600 for the evening, and that's just, at $20 a head, that's kind of hard to make that work. But my point is, do a financial analysis, do a financial overhaul, an inventory, figure out where you are. You got to sit down, and this is something that Jill and I do on a monthly basis. We sit down and figure out, okay, what is our monthly income coming in the last 30 days, and what is our expenses going back out? We want to make sure that, because here's the thing. You can get out of the rat race, and that's a great accomplishment. I've done it. Here's the other thing you need to know. I've done it twice because I allowed myself to get back in the rat race. And you think people are saying, well, how do you do that? Well, because I didn't take enough massive action myself towards looking out for my family. And here's one of the reasons why. A couple of years ago, I spent almost a solid 2 years giving away my knowledge for free. And everybody thought I was a great guy, except for my one little psycho cyber stalker, but I'm a great guy. But guess what? That really put a dent in my passive income. That put a dent in my ability to do deals because I was so busy focused on trying to teach everybody else. And then, like an idiot, not charging for that because I didn't want to be labeled a guru. I had fear of loss of reputation, so to speak, that I thought I'd be a great guy if I just taught people for free. Boy, was I stupid, because here's what really shakes out. I've learned that people don't really value what you teach them if it's free. I've learned that for sure. Now, I've heard gurus tell me this and thought, oh, that's just a sales pitch. And I'm here to tell you, it's a fact. I found out. My point is this. You have to know where you are to be able to determine how you're going to get to where you need to be. That is absolutely critical. So I want you, after you listen to this episode, reach out to me via email. You know how to get a hold of me now. Go on the Facebook group if you're a member of my Facebook group. Send me an email. Send a text message. Whatever, 727-777-7248. You can go right on the Cashflow Guys website, reach us by text message right there. Request a copy of the income analysis sheet. Okay, that's the same thing you're going to use in the Cashflow 101 game, put out by Robert Kiyosaki. You're going to list all your monthly expenses. You're going to list your total debt. Ooh, yeah, that's painful. You're going to list both your active income and your passive income. And a lot of you are going to have a big old goose egg, big old zero in that passive income section. And that's dangerous, folks. That's dangerous because here's why. Nobody is so charming that they can keep their job forever, even if they own the company. That's a fact. Ask Steve Jobs about that. Steve Jobs set up Apple, and guess what? Got fired from his own company. So it can happen to you too. Don't kid yourself that it can't. So use a financial analysis worksheet of some degree. Break out your income and expenses. You're going to have to get used to doing this anyway if you're going to buy a rental property. And no, you're not going to flip your way to success. That's just not how things go. But the first thing you have to do is get a handle on that fear. You have to figure out where you are. And I know that's going to scare the bejesus out of you probably when you break down your income and expenses and figure out where you are. But maybe you can channel that into motivation. Maybe when you think you want to sit on the couch with a bag of potato chips or an ice cream cone watching this week's episode of Madam Secretary or Biggest Loser, that you will instead pick up a book and read it and turn the TV off. Go spend some quality time with your other half. Think about what you can do to change the situation you are in, and then the fear of loss will start to subside. You know why? Because you won't be losing anymore. You'll be gaining. And that comes down to action. Now, I always ask, this happened to me the first time around, and I've always wondered the answer to this question. Why do broke people always turn to real estate investing? I don't know. Out of a lot of the people that have come to me over the years to invest in real estate, the majority, like 95% of them, are flat broke. I have people come to me, they're homeless. I mean, I love their determination, don't get me wrong, but don't run out and quit your job, okay? Don't do that. I've had people do that. Early on when we started the podcast, people got all excited and they went and quit their job. I'm going to make all this money using my 401k. Great, that's outstanding. So how are you going to do that? Well, I quit my job. Okay, so that mean you can use your 401k? Well, I don't have one yet. What are you doing? You can't you got to have a job to get a 401k. How are you going to put money in it? I mean, is money going to fall from the heavens? Yes, folks, this really happens. So ask yourself, first of all, why are you getting involved in real estate investing? If it's for logical reasons, such as with real estate investing, you can put a minute amount of money down on a property and reap the rewards of a much larger value. In other words, you could put $10,000 down on a $100,000 house and receive appreciation rates based on $100,000. You can't do that in the stock market. In real estate, at least you get something in return besides cash flow. You get a deed, or you get a promissory note if you're a lender. This episode's not about convincing you to buy real estate. It's about getting you over your fear of loss. Ask yourself this question. If I go out and decide to buy this house as a rental property, what could I possibly lose? And I want you to write it down. Grab a legal pad, a sheet of paper, whatever. I want you to write down what you could lose. And I'm going to take it one step further. When you write that down, I'm going to have you email it to me. Info, I-N-F-O, at cashflowguys.com. Info, I-N-F-O, at cashflowguys.com. You email me with everything that you could lose and how you could lose it buying a rental property. I want you to break it down for me. I can lose my house because the garage door will fall off. And then I want to know, why would the garage door fall off? I want you to write down how you can lose. And then I want you to email it to me. It'll be interesting to see how many emails I get. And I'll actually come back and do another episode about those responses. And I will keep them anonymous. I don't want to embarrass anybody. That's not what I'm about. But I am curious what you feel your failure reasons will actually be. Ask yourself this question. What would you really lose? I want you to have that thought process. Go through that. Now, the embarrassment of making mistakes, that was a huge one for me. I can tell you that right now. I don't like to look like an idiot. At least I didn't like to look like an idiot. But once I've realized that if I'm making dumb mistakes, or mistakes period, I'm learning. And more importantly, I'm taking action. Now, I'll obviously say, well, that's easy for you to say, Tyler. You have all the answers. Well, I am here to tell you, I am far from having all the answers. I actually have very few of the answers, to be perfectly honest. But what I have done is surrounded myself with people that do have the answers, people that I feel are smarter than me, people that have accomplished what I want to have accomplished. I still, to this day, have mentors on payroll. Why? Because they bring value to me. I still learn every single day, and I take time out of my day to self-educate. I take time out of my day to meet with my mentors, to meet with my staff, to take the action necessary to reduce the ability for me to lose. Will I lose? Absolutely. I'm looking at a commercial building for Cashflow Guys Studios right now. I'm actually going to buy an office building. It's going to have a training center built into it. It's going to have a place where I can do videos, where I can move my podcast equipment. So I'm not at home anymore. Granted, I'm in a separate building at home, but I'm still at home. So we're going to really ramp things up here. Do you think I'm scared? Do you think I'm afraid of buying that big building? We're talking, I don't want to, it's going to be well into the $200,000-$300,000 range for a building to provide more value to the community. Why? What I used to think to myself is because I'm a great guy. No, because it's highly profitable. Let's be honest, folks. It's highly profitable. We're going to start wholesaling again here in my area, mainly because the deal flow has gotten light. So we're going to start doing some wholesale activities. And what we're going to do is we're going to absolutely crush the market and market ourselves to death. And then we're going to help good people in rough situations get top dollar for their property. And let me explain why we're going to do that, talking about fear of loss. Because there are too many people out there that are too proud to take the time to educate themselves, that won't listen to good advice. They won't ask any questions, and they are out there paying top dollar for real estate. So I'm going to use this as a Robin Hood opportunity to go out and find people that are having trouble, problems that can be solved by them liquidating their real estate. And I'm going to help them get top dollar for their property. See, I can do that because I'm a licensed agent, and I have a team of licensed agents underneath me, and we are going for total market domination. We are going to be everywhere, omnipresence everywhere in the Tampa Bay market. The only people that are going to sell their house cheap, undersell their house, are the people that haven't heard of us yet, and that's not going to take too long. Because I don't want to see these people have to experience the fear of loss. I don't want them to be hoodwinked by some dishonest real estate investor who's claiming, if you let me buy your house, you won't have to pay any real estate commissions. Well, yeah, but you're going to make a $10,000 assignment fee on a $50,000 house. Hey, I guess if you can get away with that, knock yourself out, whatever. But it's a little bit bottom feederish to me. Obviously, you have to get a property at a decent price to make it work for you. However, when people are making $20,000 assignment fees on $50,000 houses, we have a serious problem. Embarrassment of making mistakes is something that comes down to, I go through that every single day. I fight with that. I've promised myself that I always do one take when I do these podcasts. Okay. I don't have a script. Sometimes I'll do a loose outline. Like right now, I got a couple bullet points of things I want to talk about because I want to make sure that I cover everything, period. But I've made tons of mistakes in this podcast. You've heard me make these mistakes. Do I have them edited out? No. Now, I've got an editor that knocks out some of my uncomfortable pauses, and I think I dropped a bottle of water on myself once, and I used a few words that if you got kids in the car, you probably wouldn't want them to hear. So I will edit things like that out, but I consider that a mistake. I'm not embarrassed by it. We just corrected it. No big deal, right? Imposter syndrome is another one, talking about fear of loss. You're afraid of your reputation. Oh my gosh, if I get this thing under contract and I can't close on it, I'm going to feel like a fool. Well, here's the workaround for that, folks. First of all, you get a mentor or you take one of our entry-level courses that are going to teach you how to write a contract to give yourself an out. In other words, if you're making an offer on a property, put a financing contingency in there. That way, if you don't have the money can't get the money together to close, or you can't get a loan, you have an out. Okay? Build that in there. Be upfront with your intentions. If you're honest with people, you will be fine. Will people say no sometimes? Of course they will. And that's just the way it's going to be. You have to get over that. You have to get okay with being uncomfortable. You have to get okay with no. Don't worry about looking stupid. Just write the offer. The worst they're going to say is no. They're not going to throw it at you. They're not going to get mad. Half the time, they won't even return your call. So no harm, no foul. Like, get that offer written. Next thing is you got to focus on getting educated. And it does not cost $50,000, ladies and gentlemen, to learn how to buy a $50,000 house. Don't fall prey to it. Now, there's some advanced education that, yes, is well into the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000. But it's just that. It's advanced education. If you are a new investor, you do not need to be spending $50,000, $60,000, $90,000, $100,000, $200,000 on education because you are a new investor. You will be overwhelmed. It's too much. Even if it's good information, it's too much information too early. The human brain can't learn that. That's why when you go to Harvard, it takes 4, 8, or 12 years, 10 or 12 years, depending on what your course of study is. They don't jam it into a weekend and collect $100,000. That is called usury. That you're taking advantage of you because your brain, I don't care how smart you are, Mr. MBA or PhD, your brain cannot absorb that much information in a short period of time. I am not a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or any sort of a doctor or expert in the field. That's just called common sense, ladies and gentlemen, which is another thing. Why in the hell do people put MBA behind their name on Facebook? That doesn't make any sense to me. Tyler Sheff, PhD. That's what I'm going to start doing. Tyler Sheff, PhD. Public high school diploma. That's going to be my new title. I'm going to change my Facebook profile. Tyler Sheff, PhD. That means that I am smarter than you. Because I have a podcast, I can't possibly be an idiot. Well, I got news for you. I'm very much an idiot on several topics. Like today when I was trying to get on my bike and I fell down and looked like an idiot. See, I have a podcast. Woo. That doesn't make me flawless. I am very flawed. Trust me. I have all kinds of things that I do wrong, do incorrectly, forget about, just flat out screw up. It's life. You get over it. Okay. It's okay. At the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, what are you really going to lose? So I've been saying this for a while. I've been busy putting things together, helping Larry get his information out into the digital world. Why? Because the things that Larry teaches are things that he was taught from somebody else, right? Prior to when he got started. He's taken everything that he's learned over the years, he's compiled it together over the years, and put out courses that are written by true experts, him being one of them, right? The problem is a lot of that wasn't out in the digital age, and it was my mission to get people like Larry and some other educators will be bringing their courses online very, very soon, bringing them into the digital age. Now, Larry does his courses because he wants people to get over this fear of loss. He feels, and I agree with him, that you really don't have anything to lose but time. You see, money can be replaced. Things can be replaced, but your time cannot be replaced. This is, in part, why Larry started teaching. Larry could have very easily kept what he learned to himself. He surrounded himself with good mentors, and he learned very, very quickly and became very successful in real estate. He could have very easily kept that to himself, but instead, he put together some course materials. He priced them reasonably, because if you ever get to know Larry Harble, you'll realize that he is an extremely ethical, extremely honest, and one of the most caring individuals that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. That I can assure you. Mind-blowing how much he cares for people. It's like he's like my extended father, my second father. But he put these courses together to help people get over the fear of loss, to give you, to skip the fluff, skip the BS, get you right to the details that you need to feel comfortable. So here's what we've done, and this is going to blow your mind a little bit. I've been talking about the coaching program and all that, and I suspended the coaching program, and a lot of you got frustrated with me because I did that, and I got to be honest with you. Here's the thing. For me to coach you one-on-one takes, number one, a lot of my time, which means that I cannot serve the needs of my team. You see, I've got a bunch of people that work for me, whichever way you want to look at it, that expect a lot from me, and I expect a lot because I expect a lot from them. So that said, I was taking away from my team to provide this one-on-one coaching, and for me to be able to do that and dedicate my time to the students one-on-one was not cost efficient for the student. I would have to price it to the point that where you definitely call me a guru. So although I took on a few coaching students, I took those on early to build a bigger team, basically, to teach them the way I wanted to teach them, and they could compensate me for the time that I've invested with them. Of course, I would return the favor. When they came aboard, they would be able to make an above average revenue. Everything would be great, and that's the way it worked out. That said, what we've done with Larry is we've taken his courses. We've taken them all the way back to basics. Some of his courses that haven't been released in a while, I've gone through them. Larry's gone through them. We put our heads together. We got the team involved. We've digitized these courses. And this is information that will work for the next 100 years. Okay? Getting back to basics. We put all that together. Larry's authorized me to launch the first course, which we just launched last week. It's called the Cash Flow Blueprint. Okay, this is a combination of my team helping him digitize it in his content, going through it, making it better, keep making sure it's 100% relevant, the whole 9 yards, all the fluff left out, because Larry doesn't put fluff in his courses. We've spent a lot of time and effort putting this out. We are pleased to offer it to you for a whopping $20. Yeah, we've got it priced at $19.97. Again, the purpose of this episode is not a sales pitch. But I'm here to tell you, if you can't invest $20, a whopping $19.97, towards lessening your fear of loss, then real estate is not for you. Because if $20 breaks you, don't get started in real estate yet. You need to get to the point to where $20 is not a lot of money. Once you get there, this course will be available to you. I'll even go so far as to say this. If you can convince me, and this is going to be hard, if you can convince me that you are simply unable to produce $20 to buy this course, I'll give it to you for free, just to get you started. But if I do that, I'm going to stay on top of you until you crush it in this business. Now, I know that all of you out there listening are thinking, $20, it's got to be garbage. Well, if you think it's garbage after you sign up for this course, if you think it's not worth $20, you email me directly. I will give you back all $20, no questions asked. Instant refund, no problem. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take action. I want you to get out of the rat race. It doesn't matter what the market's doing. A seller's market does not matter to you because you are a buy and hold investor. You are investing to build wealth. That's why you're listening to this show. I know you're going to wholesale or flip your way to renting houses. We both know that's a bunch of garbage. You're flipping houses and wholesaling it because it's sexy and exciting. Let's be honest. Let's quit lying to each other. Let's just keep it out in the open. Keep it real. Now is the time to get going today. Now, don't waste your time trying to take down a shopping mall on your first deal. Get your feet wet. Get some basic information underneath your belt and get out there and do it. Don't make me come back on here and tell you to do it again. That's all I got for you this week. I want you to take some action. I want you to learn to earn this week. And I want you to take some massive action towards getting it done. I don't care what the market's doing. Stick with your criteria. Come up with your criteria. If you don't know what your criteria is going to be, then you need to get on the phone with me. A lot of you have taken me up on that offer. Go to cashflowguys.com/ask Tyler. Cashflowguys.com/ask Tyler. Make an appointment with me. We will help you get an investor identity. No, you won't be on the phone with one of my team members. You'll be on the phone with me directly. I do that absolutely free of charge. There's no sales pitch involved. Make it happen. Cashflowguys.com/ask Tyler. If you like what you hear, you're learning, you're getting a good amount of information here, you need to be part of my Facebook group. Cashflow Guys Community. Look it up on Facebook or go to cashflowguys.com/group. That will get you over to my Facebook group. We're dropping all kinds of information in there on a regular basis. You should be taking part of it. We will see you in the next episode. Have a great week.
This concludes today's episode. You don't have to wait till the next episode to learn to earn.
Head over to cashflowguys.com and contact Tyler and his team for more powerful tips and ideas so you can start generating multiple streams of income and escape the rat race.